I think you might have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Huh? Chasing rumor halfway around the city and back. Crossing the guild. Wading through filth. Defying the one creature upon whom your very life depends. All for a madman and his rodent. It was no mean feat to make nice with the sourest puss in the city, by the way. It took years for Estelle and I to trust one another. The Absolute threatens thousands, the entire coast. And still you risked much to help one man. I should berate you, but I can only say thank you. Your reasons were your own. But whether you meant for it or not, your fight is our fight, huh? Both of us. To the very end. Those misty eyes are just age. Yes, I feel myself growing older as we stand here. So, lead the way. We're yours to command. Ask it.
Minsk is so amazing!
Hardly the noblest conflict we've encountered, but criminals will have their squabbles, even in the looming shadow of utter annihilation.
I don't like getting caught between the guild and the Zentarim. You always make enemies when you take sides in a struggle like that. And in this case, they're enemies we might not see coming until it's too late.
Jaheira! Boo is trying his best to explain, but I still do not understand your anger.
Do not hide behind your hamster, Ranger. You do not understand because you do not listen. We were the first to discover the cult. And if you had only waited, we might have marshaled our numbers and...
Good does not wait for evil to button up its breeches. When it offers buttocks for the smacking, Minsk and Boo greet cheek with hand.
This mess falls on our heads, Minsk. The city under siege, its people poisoned by the cult. It all might have been avoided if you had just put your feelings aside and listened. My own foolishness does not absolve Minsk of his. You meant well, Minsk. But you exposed the city to harm. You helped the cult spread. And worse, perhaps than any of this, you forced me to leave you behind.
But this is where Minsk falls short of the understanding, Jaheira. What else is a berserker for, if not to charge into danger ahead of his Waclaren?
Wiclaren? Minsk, I am not your witch. You are not my bodyguard. This is not some high lodge of your homeland.
Boo agrees you're a queer kind of witch. But this city is a queer place. And Minsk, you may have noticed, is sometimes strange himself. The titles matter not. Only this. When Minsk does as Minsk does, and charges in to make a mess, Jaheira does as Jaheira does, and finds a way to save us all anyway.
Oh, I fight alongside fools.
You hear that, Boo? We fight alongside a Waclaren again.
I am your friend, Ranger. I am not your witch. There will be no ointments or healing balms.
Not even for Boo? What is it, my friend? Minsk is an open book with many pretty pictures. We have. Is it not wonderful? There is no need for sweet words between companions such as we. Too often those are the weapons of flatterers and frauds. But she who will beat you about the head with the cold and pointy truth, that is a true Wicklaren. A hero is only as good as the friends they have at their back. This is why Boo favors this spot just above my buttocks. You come to speak of the last time Minsk stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. Minsk is an open book with many pretty pictures. Countless tales are told of Boo and Minsk. Many of them are so outlandish that even I do not know if they are true. Did Minsk bravely fend off the seductive vials of a succubus in the cloisters of Candlekeep? Maybe. Did he take a bath in the river Styx and temporarily forget himself? I do not remember. Did he travel with a spawn of the god of murder, who warred against his evil brethren and battled triumphantly at the throne of Baal itself? Of course! It was a splendid adventure. The bards sing of fallen gods and mighty battles, but that is a small part of any saga. They do not sing of the times in between, when Saravak's butt had been kicked so hard that we thought he would never return. We settled in Baldur's Gate for a while. Gorian's Ward, Imoen, Jahira, Minsk, Boo, and Dinah here. My witch. She hated the city at first. Too busy, she said. Too noisy. Too many people. She complained of the smell. Although she complained of Boo's smell too, and he smells of fresh honey cakes, so Minsk believes her nose was confused. Then, one day, we walked past a shop full of wonders. Tiny magics fizzed in the air, and wizards from every corner of the world bickered and bartered. Sorcery sundries. Dinah here fell in love. Dragged poor Minsk there every day, and made him stand watch while she browsed the shelves. Minsk frowned and complained. He felt more like a babysitter than a berserker. But how Dinah here smiled. Not long after, Minsk and Boo were captured, and Dinah here was dead. Oh, I will gladly be a babysitter again to see her smile. That is what I remember. More than any battles against Baal and his spawn. Yes, Boo. I know you miss her too. Boo says the tadpole thrives on her misery. To think dark thoughts is only to feed the darkness. It pleases Minsk more to sour its stomach with good thoughts, or better yet, not to think at all. With this in mind, Minsk thinks he has gathered enough fluff from gazing at his navel for the moment, no? You will grow to like Jahira's incense in time. Like chewing herbs and soap, yes? Minsk is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night, but very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsk and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsk does not know. One moment we stood in the city's slums, the next, ambush! Then Minsk and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places. If you wish to know the answer to that, ask a statue. For Minsk, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then it is now. Jahira says Minsk and Boo were often draped in flowers and showered with wine. Still as stone, but the life of the party nonetheless. But there is no glory without action, and no valor without violence. I would rather be as small as Boo, yet made of muscle and rage and virtue, than as large as Minsk, but made of cold stone. Oh, my friend, there is much more to know of Minsk's homeland than he could ever put into words. Boo might fare better, but his home is far stranger again. Well, in many ways, it is the very opposite of this city. The far side of Phryne, with empty plains, white forests, and peaks that pierce the very belly of the sky. But it is like the city too. Here, it is loud with the daily wailing of people. In Rasheman, it is also loud, if you know where to listen. The Telthors, guardian spirits of every root, rock, and tree. Here in the Sleeping Lands they are silent, but in the far north, they know how to speak still. Because it is slow and stupid and sleeping. Boo says Minsk should phrase this in a kinder fashion. Telthors are the living soul of the land. They flit about, offering petty blessings to those who show respect, or playing tricks on those who do not. This is so in Rasheman, but not beyond her borders. Here the spirits sleep. And perhaps we ought to be glad of this. In Rasheman, a Telthor is wind and snow and soil. In Baldur's Gate, it would be stink and stain and a far less pleasant type of soil. If my meaning is not clear, just check under your boot. The first time, my Dajema, a warrior's quest of proving. Minsk quickly proved that quests do not always go as the stories say. After wandering a ways and some savings of the Sword Ghost, Minsk returned to Rasheman to find a welcome fit for hamsters and heroes. The Iron Lord himself came to bear witness to Boo. Minsk of Rasheman, said he, your Dajema is done. Minsk politely disagreed. Dinah here was dead, and so his Dajema could never be done. Then swear your service to me, Minsk of Rasheman, said he. Serve your land as your lord's chosen champion. Minsk politely disagreed. It was a little awkward, but he had already sworn his service to Boo. Minsk of Rasheman, said he. You insult your Iron Lord. We will settle this matter in the circle of combat. It was only polite for Minsk to agree. After they carried the Iron Lord away, the Council of Witches gave Minsk a pack of provisions and said it would be best if he continued his adventures for a time. Yes, Boo, that was before we were stone. Perhaps we are due a little homecoming when all of this is done, no? As you wish. Boo, do you have much to say on the matter of something else? Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Then you have a sword at your side and a hamster at hand, whenever you need them. Unless I die, or you die, or you do anything at all to upset Boo. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? As you wish, but quietly. It is listening.
It's you! Look at us! We made it to the city! We made it to the Elf Song Tavern! And you? Never thought I'd live to perform for the greatest audience in the realms. The entirety of Baldur's Gate. Lacarissa lets me practice up here when she's on shift downstairs. She's too good to me. But you? I have a bone to pick with you, oh brave adventurer. Big trouble. The most trouble you've ever been in. I've decided I'm not going to perform in the Elf Song. Mainly because only the Elf Song itself is allowed to perform. I'm going to open up a school of bards. The best in the realms. To usher in a new age of magic and musicianship. And it's because of you that I dare to dream big enough. Thank you. That means a lot. I wanted to tell you first because, well, you inspired me to do it. Here. My very first lute. Tuned to perfection. Thought you'd appreciate it when I'm rich and famous. Take care, my friend. Thank you for helping a stumbling bard in a druid's grove find her spark again.
It is pleasurable to see you. Your intervention within the cult's underwater complex was a timely one. I am glad my carelessness did not cost the life of Duke Ravengard. That you also saved me was unexpected. My meeting with you led me to a most unsettling conclusion. That my kind had begun to exert influence through this cult of the Absolute. I felt illicit interference would not be conducive to this plane's survival. I sought out other infected individuals to ascertain the truth of my hypothesis. Unfortunately, I strayed too close. I was captured and transported to the prison in which you found me. There, I saw Gortash and his followers inflict cruelties far beyond any I witnessed in the Underdark. I am grateful that you were spared such a merciless fate. I too feel some warmth at your presence. Your inclination to generosity is an admirable quality, one I wish to reciprocate. Blurg and I have consulted on the matter of your reward. We first thought to ask the denizens of the Underdark for their aid in fighting the cult. Alas, our influence there remains negligible. Instead, we have selected a series of items from the Society's vaults. Given my kind's involvement in creating this evil, it is only right that I do my part in helping you defeat it, or at least improving your own.